Hey kiddies, it's Triple Feature Tuesday once again, and this week we look at comedy sequels that shamelessly remade the original movie, and yet it was still just as funny.
It's all just a little bit of history repeating.
That's right, I am a big fan of sequels. I generally operate under the assumption that more is more, and more is always better. Uh, Generally, that doesn't always turn out to be the case with sequels. You get a lot of movies that just try to cash in by doing the exact same movie again, but then you get other movies where they expand on the previous film and make something bigger and grander and more fun. You see that a lot more with horror movies, even though they are essentially just redoing the same movie. But, there's like little subplots and stuff that always get interesting. Comedy sequels try to do the same exact movie again and make money off of it. And it doesn't always work. Honestly, most of the time it falls flat for me. The worst example of this I can think of is Men in Black 2, which is the exact same film as Men in Black 1, and yet it just doesn't, it's not funny, it doesn't resonate, it just doesn't have, there was nothing new to it other than just the superficial things, which admittedly, the three movies on this triple feature mainly just changed superficial things about it, but it still manages to be as hilarious as the first one. Other things to look out for is that, with less time devoted to setting things up and establishing characters, side characters get new subplots, mainly love interests. Just about all three of these movies have a side character all of a sudden getting a romantic interest and having a romantic story, and sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't as much. But in all the three of these movies, they follow the same basic plot structure. They have characters coming in to just replace the characters that were vanquished in the first film. But they're still so goddamn funny and just as quotable and wonderful as the first one. So I don't understand it. It's incredible. And so our menu is going to include Ghostbusters 2, Addams Family Values, and Wayne's World 2. With these three movies, I'm not going to talk about the original because you've all seen them and know how good they actually are. Ghostbusters 2, I talked about recently. I have mixed feelings towards it, but overall, they skew out to the good because Ghostbusters 2 is goddamn funny, throughout the whole thing. It just doesn't, it's just more straight up funny as opposed to kind of satirical, or it doesn't have as much of a sardonic edge as the first one. But it does the exact same movie where, even though they saved New York, now we are reset, and everybody's lives are in varying degrees of misery, or at the very least, they are not famous Ghostbusters. Dana Barrett and Peter Venkman have broken up, so we have to get them trying to get back together again. Kurt Fuller's political manager character replacing the much superior William Atherton's Walter Peck. I mean, just nobody's going to outdick Walter Peck. It just can't happen, even. Which is ironic, because Walter Peck has no dick. Oh, and for our ongoing count of side characters getting love interests, all of a sudden Louis Tully and Janine Melnitz are develop a romance for reasons. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am all for more Rick Moranis in your movie. It just didn't go anywhere, and it was sort of pointless. When this could have been devoted to, more Slimer bits, maybe. Improvements that were made in this film were Vigo. See, here's the thing, and I love Ghostbusters. Oh, and there's also the exact same montage, and they all get arrested in the exact same, well, they get committed, but it's the exact same thing again. I'm going to be rambling, but the improvements. Vigo. In the first movie, Gozer kind of just comes in at the third act. Through most of the movie, it's just these guys running around chasing ghosts, seemingly with no connection. In this one, there's a lot more time spent building up the bad guy, Vigo, and they deliver on that promise by the end of the movie. The combination of Max von Sydow's voice and Wilhelm von Homburg's body was just incredible and scary and menacing. And he was this inanimate object throughout most of the film, and then he comes and he is Vigo! And it's just wonderful. Oh, also, all three of these movies have a standout addition to the cast from the first one. In this one, Peter MacNicol, his Janusz, basically steals the movie anytime he's on there. But, I mean, credit where credit's due. It's the Ghostbusters. Everybody, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, Sigourney Weaver, all of them are just perfect and wonderful. And all this combines into an equally satisfying Ghostbusters 2. I mean, well, I say equally. It is very, very good. Nothing beats Ghostbusters 1. Period. It's Ghostbusters. Next up, we have Addams Family Values, and I'm not going to lie, I'm sort of arbitrarily putting this second. You can basically, with your triple feature, mix and match Wayne's World 2 and Addams Family Values per your choice, because they are equally funny. Both of them, I think, are funnier than Ghostbusters 2. Again, I love Ghostbusters 2. But, oh my god, Addams Family Values. Barry Sonnenfeld returning to direct. Basically, the entire cast came back. I think the only one that was different is, in this one, it's Carol Kane playing Grandmama. Not sure who played the grandmother in the first one, but that's the only real difference in terms of switching up actors. But it's essentially the same movie, where Fester gets into some sort of trouble. The family risks losing all of their money, and they end up sort of fighting for their lives. What make the changes that they did make to make it different really, really work. First and foremost, they realized that Christina Ricci and the very nice man that plays Pugsley, I don't know his name, are older and can do more. And so you actually see a lot more with Wednesday. And in addition to them, you throw in David Krumholtz, who is just never bad, even at that age. And all the stuff at the camps, at Camp Chippewa, is really, really, really goddamn funny. Like, I'll be the victim all your life. And just the re-education camp, and then, dear God, the Thanksgiving thing. And of course, Peter MacNicol, who is in this one again as Gary Granger, and the always wonderful Christine Baranski as, was it Becky Martin Granger? Or something. I don't know her first name, but I know her last name is a hyphen, because it was the early to mid-90s, and that was a pretty good joke. They also had Pubert, who is adorable. You know, what's great, I like that they didn't break whatever was working in the first one. So Gomez and Morticia are still perfect together and in love. Like, that is never even a consideration, because in the other ones, the main leads are always broken up, you know, because they couldn't think of anything better to do with their plots together. But no, you can't break up Morticia and Gomez. They are Morticia and Gomez, and they will love each other, you know, longer than you and I will be alive. The really, really standout, brilliant addition, though, oh my god, Joan Cusack, who is just always funny. She is just a great big ball of weird, but up until this point, I don't think you'd ever really seen her as a femme fatale. And granted, it's a femme fatale in a comedy role, but man, Joan cleans up really nice. And she's so funny. I just watched the ending with all the Addams family and the electric chairs, and I was dying. I mean, they were almost dying, but the level of sarcastic writing and the delivery, pitch perfect for everyone in it, and just Joan Cusack being completely bonkers. I wanted ballerina Barbie. They gave me Malibu Barbie. Oh, poor Debbie. It doesn't go too overboard in a slapstick sort of way like sequels tend to do. They tend to dumb it down a little bit. I think Ghostbusters suffers a little bit from that. It's not necessarily... Ghostbusters 2 is not necessarily dumbed down. It's just not as much of a grown-up film as Ghostbusters 1 is. Addams Family is still has the exact same tone as the first one. And... I could watch it forever. I think every moment of that movie is funny. Oh my god, when Alan Gomez goes to the police station to try to save his brother, and Nathan Lane is stonewalling him the whole time, and then he just loses it. Oh my god. Addams Family Values, people. Who would have thought that would have been as good? Also, in terms of secondary accoutrement, that they did exactly the same. The first Addams Family movie The song for the movie was MC Hammer's Addams Groove, which I am not ashamed to admit, I still love that song. I got it on my MP3 player. I'll play it for you whenever you want. In this one, they completely just tried to catch in on Whoop, There It Is with Whoop, the Addams Family. And it's just the same exact song, basically, with the words Addams Family stuck in it. So it didn't really work as much. But don't let that make you think less of Addams Family Values, because it's brilliant. And finally, we have Wayne's World 2, which, right from the very movie poster, did not lie about it being the same exact movie, because in the first one, the movie poster, the tagline, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll hurl. In the movie poster for Wayne's World 2, you'll laugh again, you'll cry again, you'll hurl again, because it's the same movie. Wayne is trying to win Cassandra, because now they're not dating anymore. Or halfway through the movie, they sort of separate. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Wednesday and, well, of course, Fester and Debbie are a romantic part, but because the whole thing is a lie and it's just about getting Fester's money, it doesn't count. But Wednesday and David Krumholtz's character have the subplot romantic entanglement. In this one, not only are Wayne and Cassandra broken up, which is just silly, Garth is being wooed by Kim Basinger, or Basinger, however the hell you pronounce her name, for, as it turns out, nefarious reasons. But hey, Garth got pubes and a girl, and then he gets a girl at the end, so hooray for him. Wayne is trying to pull off a concert, and that's as opposed to sell his show on television. But everything else is the same. In lieu of Alice Cooper, we have Aerosmith as the We're Not Worthy band. We don't have the Bohemian Rhapsody scene, but I'd like to believe the YMCA scene at the gay club is just as good. Obviously not as iconic, but it's so brilliant because the whole thing is set up 5 minutes before, and you don't even realize it until they go into the gay club and they're standing next to each other, that, wow, they do look like the Village People, and then they just go with it, and it's wonderful. Our really standout addition to the cast this time around is Rob Lowe's, the replacement for Rob Lowe's sleazeball TV exec in the first one is Christopher Walken, and that is why I tend to, like, in the dead heat of Addams Family Values versus Wayne's World 2, I would put Wayne's World 2 just a smidge above it, because it's Christopher Walken turns everything he touches into hilarity. Like when they're trying to say, like, get him to say, his sphincter says what, or whatever it was, and he's just like, oh, you want me to say what, right? What? Because he's Christopher Walken, and the random Chuck Heston moment, and, decent use of parodies. I thought they were good with the Officer and a Gentleman, Graduate moment, and other additions to the cast were great, because you had Chris Farley in it. He was just starting to really get big on Saturday Night Live. Big as in famous, not big as in fat. And Del, just roadie ever, and his recurring story about Ozzy Osbourne and beating to death a sweet shop owner with his own shoes. But God, I just want to sit and watch them all again right now, because they're just that funny. It's weird that you get a sequel, let alone like a direct second sequel, that's that funny. Usually, like, they have to fail at the second sequel and then just kind of revamp everything, or just like throw something new at the wall to come up with a good third one, if they even get a third one. But yeah, they were really strong sequels right out of the gate. Ghostbusters 2, Addams Family Values, and Wayne's World 2. And go watch them, and I'll see you guys next week.